During the brutal years of World War II, there was one tank that became a symbol of strength, fear, and victory: the Tiger I. This colossal machine of steel was not just a weapon, but a strategy, a symbol of military power that Nazi Germany used to attack, overwhelm, and dominate the battlefield. But did that power truly lead to victory? Tiger I was born at a time when the war was at its turning point, and Germany needed a tank that could crush any opponent. And Tiger I did just that, not only on the Eastern Front, but also in the invasions of Western Europe. However, behind its formidable armor and destructive firepower, Tiger I came at an incredibly high cost. The production, maintenance, and manpower required to operate it were more than many realized. Can one tank really change the course of war? Can the glory of Tiger the Mariner overshadow the failures hidden behind it? The Tiger I was not just a war machine, it was a symbol of power and also a reflection of strategic decline. A victory forged in steel, but at a price that would prove too costly. In the early 1940s, as the war escalated and the need for more powerful weapons became ever more critical, the Tiger I was born as a symbol of German military strength. It wasn't by chance that this tank was named Tiger. It was a steel monster created to dominate and crush any foe in its path. As the war entered its most brutal phase, Nazi Germany required a more powerful weapon to face off against the Allied forces. The Tiger WWII was the result of a long development process designed with a single goal in mind: to defeat all enemies on the battlefield. Thick armor, an 88mm cannon, and the ability to fire at great distances were some of the defining features that made the Tiger I stand out. But these very traits also presented massive challenges in production and maintenance. The Tiger I wasn't just a tank, it was an entire military strategy built around the hope of changing the course of the war. However, when the power of the Tiger I exploded on the battlefield, it also marked the moment when Germany had to pay the high price for the complexity in its design and operational costs. With the Tiger I, steel power was not just shown in its massive size and thick armor, but also in its monstrous 88mm cannon, capable of piercing through any tank the Allies could field. But true power didn't just come from its weaponry and armor. It came from the strategy that the Germans applied in its deployment. When the Tiger I hit the battlefield, it wasn't just a tank, it was a symbol of brutality and dominance. As the Tiger I roared across the battlefield, it didn't just break through Soviet defenses, it completely reshaped the battlefield. The mere appearance of the Tiger I was enough to send a message to the enemy. This is not just a tank, this is a force to be reckoned with. It wasn't just about firepower, it was about psychological warfare. In the Battle of Kursk, the largest tank battle in history, the Tiger I truly showed its power. But this power didn't always lead to victory. Unlike the T-34, the Soviet tank, which was fast, nimble, and easy to produce, the Tiger I was expensive, difficult to maintain, and vulnerable in the harsh conditions of battle. The Tiger I wasn't a perfect weapon. While it was dominant on the battlefield, its complexity in production and maintenance meant that Germany couldn't sustain its superiority with the tank. The slow production and frequent breakdowns made the Tiger I a double-edged sword. When the Tiger I first appeared on the battlefield, it created a shockwave not just physically, but mentally. The Tiger I was not just a tank, it was a symbol of fear and domination. Unlike any weapon before it, its mere presence on the battlefield was not only a military event, but a symbol of brutality. With thick armor, an 88mm cannon, and superior firepower, the Allies faced a difficult choice: how to deal with a tank whose armor was so strong that any prior tactics became irrelevant. The only answer was to either avoid it or focus on killing it from a distance. But even then, a Tiger I could easily destroy dozens of tanks in minutes. Battles like the Battle of Kursk, where the Tiger I was used on a massive scale for the first time, proved that its power was not just about destruction, but also about being a psychological weapon. Soviet soldiers and even the Allies felt the terror when facing this tank. The sound of its engine roaring and the boom of its cannon became a nightmare on the battlefield. However, the appearance of the Tiger I did not always guarantee victory. Despite its devastating power, the Tiger I faced challenges from smaller, more agile foes. The T-34s of the Soviet Union, although not a match head-to-head, employed tactical flexibility to exploit the weaknesses of the Tiger I. Its lack of mobility and high maintenance costs. The Tiger I may have been a symbol of fear, but it was also a symbol of invincibility, at least for a time. When the Tiger I first appeared on the battlefield, it sent shock waves, both tactically and psychologically. But like all powerful weapons, the victory of the Tiger I came at an incredibly high cost. A complex production system, high maintenance costs, and a lack of resources slowly eroded its strength. While the Germans hoped that the Tiger I would be the key to achieving dominance, the tank faced significant problems. Designed to combat the T-34s of the Soviet Union, the Tiger I could annihilate any opponent on the battlefield. However, its difficulty in operation, expensive upkeep, and slow production speed meant that Germany couldn't produce enough Tiger I tanks to maintain a strategic advantage. As the number of Tiger I tanks diminished on the battlefield, Germany realized they had lost the opportunity to maintain an effective war strategy. While the Tiger I won several major battles for Germany, the cost of victory was too great, and when Germany lost the war, the tank became a symbol of strategic failure. Beyond its tactical effectiveness, the Tiger I carried with it immense losses, not just in weaponry, but in human cost. The German military paid a steep price for its victories: a depletion of resources, the exhaustion of soldiers, and the brutality of war. By the mid-1940s, as the war entered its decisive phase, the power of the Tiger began to fade. Once a fearsome presence on the battlefield, the Tiger was now becoming a symbol of the strategic decline of the German forces. While the T-34 of the Soviet Union became increasingly more mobile, easier to produce, and capable of fighting in harsh conditions, the Tiger I revealed weaknesses that could not be fixed. The difficulty in maintenance, resource shortages, and high production costs meant that Germany could not sustain the strategic advantage that the Tiger I once provided. The Normandy invasion, or D-Day, marked a decisive turning point where the might of the Tiger I could no longer withstand the overwhelming power of the Allied forces. The Tiger I faced an Allied army that was not only more numerous, but also better equipped, and most importantly, more mobile, a quality the Tiger I lacked. The result was that, despite still having a large number of Tiger I tanks, they were unable to change the outcome of the battle. As the war raged on, the Tiger I gradually became obsolete, and ultimately it became the wreckage of a strategy that was no longer viable. Germany's production system could no longer keep up with the need for such powerful tanks, and the Tiger I was no longer the unstoppable force it once was. These tanks, once feared by the world, became little more than the tragic remnants of a war that had come to an end. Though the Tiger I could no longer maintain its strategic dominance, its legacy transcended the war, becoming an immortal symbol of military power. Even after it retreated from the battlefield, the Tiger I remained etched in the minds of those who fought alongside it and those who faced it. The power and influence of the Tiger I didn't end with World War II. After the war, this tank continued to serve as a model for many future weapons. The T-34 of the Soviet Union improved upon and replaced the Tiger I, but it was the Tiger I that made the world realize that modern warfare was not just about numbers. It was about superior strength and precise strategy. In later wars, the Tiger I remained a symbol of military might. Although it was no longer used directly, its influence lived on in the designs of modern weaponry, particularly in the tank manufacturing industry. The Tiger I was not just a war machine. It was the image of destruction, strength, and also a lesson in strategic failure. The soldiers who fought with this tank didn't just leave their mark on history. They helped the world understand the true cost of war. And so, the journey of the Tiger I, the legendary tank, has traversed the brutal battlefields, leaving an indelible mark in the history of World War II. Although it could not maintain its dominance throughout the war, the Tiger I proved to be an unmatched force and played a pivotal role in shaping the course of the conflict. However, the story of the Tiger also serves as a reminder of the cost of victory, of the sacrifices demanded by war, and of the damage that strategic failures can cause. If you found the story of the Tiger intriguing and want to learn more about other legendary weapons in war history, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to make sure you don't miss the next video. Share this video with your friends and family to uncover untold secrets from the world of warfare. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments. Which legendary weapon story would you like to explore next? Drop your suggestions and we'll make it happen. Thank you for watching. Keep exploring and never let history be forgotten.